Shabbat Shalom. We welcome everybody who's here in our sanctuary, as well as those who are joining us from your homes through our live streaming service. It's an exciting Shabbat for us as we have our two confirmation students who are not nervous at all, they told me. Benefit of being having just graduated high school for both of them is that they know they can tackle the whole world, so this is nothing for them. So it's a thrill to have Eric and Haley, especially for me as it was right at their bar and bat mitzvah when I started my time here in Akron. So I can actually say I've seen you grow up. And it's really touching to be able to remember back what to many of us doesn't feel like that long ago, when each of you were here for your bar and bat mitzvah. Haley was my first bat mitzvah here, and Eric had that special kippah with the black and the white racing stripes. And to realize that for us it was not that long ago, and we're so excited to send you off and bless you as you leave this space and enter this next chapter of your life, and enter into a different chapter of adulthood as we blessed you 5 years ago at the beginning of adulthood, and now we bless you as you move on into adulthood that comes with independence. And so we'll begin by inviting your parents, as we invite the Goldsteins and the Meermans to light our Shabbat candles. They'll be sharing a number of blessings with us this evening as we let their children lead us in our service and offer their words as our teachers this Shabbat.
Adonai, Heinu Melech Haolam, Asher Kiddushanu Mitzvotav V'tzivanu L'adlik Ner Shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
You can return to your seats. We begin our service on page 10 with the words of Hinei Ma Tov. How nice it is, how pleasant it is, how important it is that we are here together. Page 10, Hinei Ma Tov. Please join with us.
Hinei Ma Tov Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. 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 הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד.
We walk back through our week. Where were you 7 days ago, last Friday night? How many people have you spoken with? How many people have you met? How many relationships have you reconnected with in these last 7 days? What are the joys and blessings that you bring into this space to help all of us as a community feel the joy of Shabbat, a gift given to us, an opportunity to elevate that which blesses our lives? We walk back through our week. We bring those moments into this space as we welcome Shabbat. Page 20, with the words of L'chadodi, we welcome all of those joys and blessings into this room and into our community. Please join with us.
L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi dodi, l'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'le'ila. L'chadodi, l'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, ki hi mekor habracha. Nerosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'mashad batchila. L'chadodi, l'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Verse 5. Hitorari, kiva ora kumi ori, uri shir dabivi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla.
L'chadodi, l'chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala,
b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the entrance to your home and to our sanctuary. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'sochola, toch emuni am segula. Boi chala, boi chala.
lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabel.
Please remain standing and join me for the Chatzi Kaddish, page 26. Yikadal mikadash shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach hirutei Be'amlich machotei B'chayechon u'vyomechon U'chayedecha b'et Yisrael Ba'gala U'vizman karib Ve'imeru Amin Yehish Merabah Bavarach Le'alamo me'omaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yiromam v'yinasi V'yitador v'yitali V'yitalal Shemei Kodesh Barichu Le'ela minkom b'chata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damira ve'alma V'imeru Amin.
Page 28.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach
Page 31 for reading. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain of the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is our hour of change, and within it we stand quietly, on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Page 32.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amecha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadita Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Marushim, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated and join me in the Via Havta on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vlektecha b'derech u'v'shokbecha u'vkumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotavot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzah beitecha u'v'isharecha Lema'an tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim l'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem l'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 39.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is no better place, a promised land, that the winding way to promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Page 40 for Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha ne'dar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefelet, Nora tehilot osefelet. Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Ze'eli yadu v'yameru Ze'eli yadu v'yameru Adonai yiloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yiloch le'olam va'ed Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai Micha mocha ne'dar b'kodesh Nora tehilot osefelet Nora tehilot osefelet. Hashkivenu, page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Vehamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Pros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen.
Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right,
O Adonai. Amen. 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 O Adonai. Amen. 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 O Adonai.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives, and while it may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. We turn to page 46. Our series of prayers begins on this page, our most personal prayers, prayers that recall the names of our ancestors, and prayers that invite us in our moment of silence to use our own words. Please rise, page 46.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vegonei Hakol, Vezocher Hasdei Avot ve'Imaot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo ve'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid atah, Mechakel Chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayeh emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bagevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kdoshim b'chol yom yehallelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers, and we pray that we find you. And along your side, courage, insight, endurance, so that our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength to do your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levarecha b'yir'ah na'avod. As we continue to find our world incredibly broken, we look out at the world and ask for it to be fixed in the most ideal of ways. We do so with these words, page 60. We pray that these words one day don't need to be said, but today, Shalom Rav, may the greatest source of peace find its way soon to our world. Join with us.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki atahu melech ador lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech ador lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Benecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol eid ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We'll take a moment for our own silent prayers.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom Biroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Biroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Biroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom Biroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu.
When immigrants from Europe, Jewish immigrants, were making their way to America, there were two schools of thought. One school of thought was, this is going to be a ton of fun and amazing, because this place gives us more freedom than we've ever had anywhere else. So let's go and let's build a new life over there in this new world. The other school of thought was, be careful, you'll lose who you are. You'll leave this Jewish community, you'll go to some new place, and you won't know anyone, and you won't even know who you are, because you'll have cut ties with all of your traditions, so be wary. The creation of a confirmation service was the third way. It was a message to the community that said, we can be in the new world, and our new young people can confirm that they are Jewish, they are proud of our people, they are connected to our past, and they are willing to build our future. It's been an interesting few years, these last few years, with confirmation. We could say, without a pandemic, that kids are busier than ever, that kids in our Jewish communities, as is the case for our Jewish communities, are spread out more than they ever were. Our kids in our high school program go to, we have 12 to 15 kids who participate, and I think they go to like 7 or 8 different schools. So there's no longer, in Akron or almost anywhere else, Cleveland's a little bit of an exception still, there's really no longer a Jewish neighborhood where the Jewish kids live next door to each other, grow up going to all the same schools and knowing each other no matter what. It takes effort and work and commitment. And then they get to high school and they've got 1,000 extracurriculars. And we're lucky that in our congregation, our teens have made a statement. Those who participate in our program have said, I'm in this program because I want to be with my Jewish friends who I don't get to see every day. And when we graduated them in 10th grade, a weird thing happened. They kept showing up. And so we said, why don't we, the pandemic made it convenient, but the truth is we were talking about it anyway. It's more fitting that we bless our children as they take this moment of transition to become independent adults in whatever way they choose, whether that's college or something else, and that we take this moment to send them off at the moment that we won't get to see them in the same way, where they won't be with us every week as they have been in our teen program. And the two students that we have here tonight, Haley and Eric, they represent, as I mentioned at the beginning of the service, they represent not just for me, but for us, the teens who joined us at the very beginning when there was no teen program and said, I'll try this thing out. And they stuck with it, and they're the first ones to have confirmation in our congregation in 12th grade, because the last time we had confirmation, Anna and Sonia, they were finishing up I think 10th grade, yes? 10th, 11th grade? And so it's great to see the two of you and to know what you're doing next, and to invite you to carry a Torah around our congregation, to let everybody in the congregation be the first to bless you as we turn to you to read our Torah and to give us your words of wisdom this night as it is your confirmation. So please rise as we turn to our Torah service and open our ark.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'davar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti, Uneramama Shemayata. Lecha Adonai hagedula, hagevura, hatiferet, v'hanitzach v'hahod. Kikov hashamayim u'va'aretz, Kikov hashamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai ha'mamlacha, ha'mitnaseh l'chol ha'rosh. Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Alam, Alam omer. Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Alam, Alam omer. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Al shlosha devarim, Alam, Alam, Amen.
Please be seated. It's an honor to invite the Meermans and the Goldsteins once again to share the blessing over our Torah as we will invite Eric to be our first reader. We're reading the priestly benediction, and so you'll hear it differently. We'll say the priestly benediction at the end of the service, as we're used to, but in the Torah, it goes with the tropes, so you'll hear Eric chant it a little differently.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Ambarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Baruch Rabanu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. V'yedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el Aharon, ve'el banav lemor kotvarchu et bnei Yisrael lemor Alechem. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem el lecha shalom. V'samu et shmi al bnei Yisrael. V'ani avarchem.
Well done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tuchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. You can go down. You can go back down. Don't hand it to me. Hand it to Haley. It's an honor to invite the Meermans to join Haley as she chants the next verses from our Torah portion.
Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch atah Adonai le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayehi bayom kalo Moshe lahakem et hamishkan. Vayimshech oto vayakadesh oto vet kol kelav vet hamishbeach vet kol kelav vetim shechem vet hamishdash otam vayakrivu nasiye Israel v'shei beit avotam hem nasiye hamotot ham haodim al hafkudim vayatviu et korbana lifnei Adonai shes evlut zav ushne asa ba'akar Agala al shanei, hansiim v'shor la'ahad, v'yakrivu otam lifnei hamishkan.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'natan lanu Torat emet, v'nachayei hayom v'nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
With our Torah out, the strength of our story before us, we offer our words of blessing and our prayers for healing to those who are ill at this time, especially those with whom we love. We share the words of Misha Barak, page 253. In the midst of our prayer, we invite you to add any names into the midst of the prayer as we wish for them a refuah shlema, a full sense of healing.
Sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Reed Wasserstrom, Kathy Meyerson.
Howard Flock.
Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please rise as we show the text of the Torah and dress the Torah.
V'zat haTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yadalai lai lai, yadalai lai lai, yadalai lai 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 lai, yadalai lai lai, yadalai lai lai, yadalai
Please be seated. I'm not sure if it was the first time I met Eric, but my first memory of Eric is when we put a call out, I think during Sukkot, for anybody who wanted to play guitar with Kane or Kathy. And Eric was a 7th grader, and he came out with his guitar, and his dad stood next to him in what will soon be our Mishkan out there on the patio, and he strummed away at his guitar as we sang around a campfire. And then I got to know him as the kid who would, in your younger years especially, annoy Shayla. All the kids, the thing about Shayla taught in our religious school, and all the kids adore Shayla. They like follow her around, really. They like follow her around the school, and then Eric would come in, and he would know what to do to make Shayla mad in front of all of the other kids. As a teen, I got to know Eric as an avid car fanatic, and so he continues even yesterday when we were practicing for his Torah. He was still explaining. In fact, I called today and told him what he said about what was wrong with my car. I said, my expert told me it's the brake fluid, because no one knows cars like Eric because he's been racing for years, long before he had the ability to drive. And soon he will be a student at the University of Akron, where he's really already been a student through the high school program, and more or less starting into your sophomore year, correct? Yeah. So it's a great honor to invite Eric to share a few words with us this Shabbat.
All right. When I was asked to write this speech, I had to do a lot of thinking. What does it mean to be Jewish now? Personally, that was a difficult question because I never thought about feeling Jewish as a mature process. So let's start from the beginning. Growing up in Akron, Ohio feels more like extracurricular activities. It's the things you do as a kid that's not school. I learned that being Jewish and going to temple equaled extra school. So that wasn't cool, but I learned a lot about my heritage and religion. Most importantly, I learned that to have fun and at temple and have faith in God. The first part I learned is from my sister, who is a Sunday school teacher, Shayla, and Lauren, which makes temple just so much fun when I come. And my parents, who also made me go, right? Wouldn't start without that. And I learned my faith in God from many places, like at home, here at temple, my parents going to Boy Scouts, and that's just like the basis. I must be committed to Judaism because according to 2021 Gallup poll, America's membership in houses of worship continue to decline in the last year, unfortunately, dropping below 50% for the first time in Gallup's 8-decade trend. In 2020, 47% of Americans said they belonged to a church, synagogue, or mosque, down from 50% in 2018, and down from 70% in 1999. And here I stand, 18 years old, speaking to my congregation, like earning my Eagle Scout my continued participation at Temple is more common than rare, or rare than common. Today I find God everywhere, at home, my extended family, at Temple, and even at the racetrack. I always say a blessing before I go out on the track, but that's just God's generic sense. What about being Jewish? What I find most meaningful about being Jewish in a sense of belonging is that I'm special in a manner where you cannot simply just decide. For example, one cannot just wake up tomorrow and simply identify as Jewish. You must put the effort in, and you must have the courage to be Jewish. In fact, it probably benefits many people to not identify as Jewish. Trust me, life's a little bit easier when you're trying to get breakfast at McDonald's and you don't need to say, I'd like an Egg McMuffin without Canadian bacon. You laugh, but you don't understand what it's like to scarf down breakfast on race day somewhere else in the country and not have mom's home-cooked meals. This year, I'm starting my next journey as a mechanical engineering student at the University of Akron. I'll find some time to spend at Hillel so I can stay close to my Judaism. It makes me proud to know my people work hard to become educated. It makes me proud to know how hard we work to earn what we have. It makes me proud to see the legacy of internationally recognized professionals that are all mishpucha. From the significant number of Nobel laureates to the national and local politicians to the judges and other professionals who are all Jewish, I won't let them or myself down. One day, God willing, there will be a professional race car driver champion who is Jewish. And maybe he will pull a Sandy Koufax and not race on Yom Kippur because he's proud to be Jewish. Thank you.
I can easily say that Haley was the first student I got to know at Temple Israel because we started working on her bat mitzvah before I had even moved here. And then she joined us a year later on our trip to New York, which is not really for 8th graders, but seeing as she had already had her bat mitzvah and her friends, a number of her friends were going on the trip, she joined a bunch of high school kids trekking around New York City with Becky Rubenstein and myself. And then as we got to know each other in our teen program, we got to see Haley's resilient nature with a number of, every time she would come, we would ask for an update on what her teams were doing, which is why when she was injured a few times, sometimes seriously, we knew how seriously she took it, and it was wonderful to see her come back. And to see her smile and her joy, and to be with the group this year as a senior. She became one of our most reliable volunteers. It doesn't hurt when your father's the co-president of the synagogue, but it's not uncommon for me to say, we really need somebody to do something, and Andrew to say, text Haley, and then I text Haley, and Haley's like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. So we don't take that for granted either. You've been a great participant in our congregation. You've helped when we've asked. You jumped ahead to be a part of our teen group before you were really even able. And now you'll be at the University of Cincinnati, where all of her great knowledge from Temple got her to negotiate her own room at college. Anybody have their own bedroom their first year of college? So we're very proud that you were able to figure that out. She said that's not even my top choice. So keep reaching for the stars, and we hope that we get to hear you many times from our Bima. Haley, please share your words with us this evening.
Okay, so I might go too fast. I tend to speak very fast, so bear with me if I do. Okay, so the last time I was up here on this Bima was when I was talking at my bat mitzvah, believe it or not. It's been a while, and I am still that scared girl to come up on stage and talk in front of a bunch of people. I was asked, what does Judaism mean to me? At first, I didn't know, and I probably still don't know. I mean, we all learn new things every day. Every day, there's new information, whether it's what's the newest fashion sense or what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Since I have gotten older, I have been more aware of anti-Semitism. I knew it was always there. I just thought people would be better than back then. I feel like in today's world, we are moving backwards, not forward. I was never ashamed of being Jewish growing up. Maybe that's because I had good parents that raised me and taught me to never be ashamed of who I am. Who knows, but I was always open about being Jewish. No matter who I was with, they never treated me differently because of my Judaism. Being Jewish is about heritage, history, and ethnicity. As I think about this, I am confronted by the fact that I am Jewish and will remain Jewish no matter what. Because my father was Jewish and my grandparents before him, and I inherited this ancestry and identify whether I recognize it or not. However, regardless of whether I attend synagogue or Hebrew school or get bat mitzvah, I will always be Jewish. I can't hide from it, and I'm not going to change it. Being Jewish is special in the sense that it isn't just a religion, it's a nationality or a heritage from the past. Despite the hardships faced by the Jewish people in the past, I am extremely fortunate to be a descendant of Judaism. Jews have inherited the kingdom of Israel. They have made it their homeland and country. However, this benefit does not apply just to Israelis. In Israel, all Jews are welcome, equal and welcome and accepted. It does not matter where we live on earth or whether we participate in Judaism as a religion. We are one, with one common heritage. I guess what Judaism means to me is that no matter who you are or what you do, we will always be welcome to the community. We don't discriminate against someone on what they look like or what they believe in or what happened in the past, only what's going to happen in the future. I am a part of Temple Teen Night. One of my favorite memories of Temple Teen Night is going to New York. I was in 8th grade at the time. I loved everyone there. It was such a fun time. I remember the Statue of Liberty and going to synagogue and also bagels. There's one memory that I don't remember that well, but when I met with Rabbi Brown for going over today, we were talking about New York, and he told me that we were embarrassed him. Of course, not seriously. So I have no recollection of this, but I do have a bad memory. So he told me we went to go see Stomp on Broadway. I kind of remember that. Anyways, back to our hotel, we took to the subway home, and we saw one of the Stomp people. And of course, Anna Mark, Sonia, Samantha Hoffman, and Haley thought he was cute. And what happened next, we went up to him, and we talked to him, and giggled like a couple of middle school girls with a crush. And of course, I was in middle school, so that's understandable. When I met with Rabbi Brown, I said to him, I bet that was Sonia's idea, because that was a very Sonia thing to do. Anyways, I thought that was a cute story that I kind of remember with Temple Teen Night. I want to thank my mom and dad for helping me every step of the way to make me who I am. Thank you. Words cannot express how thankful I am for you guys. I know Morgan isn't here. She is in Israel, which is amazing, and I am proud of her, but I'd never tell that to her face. I want to thank also Rabbi Brown for planning this with me and Eric, and Cantor Kathy for working with us. Thank you.
Lechi lach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to a place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, lechi lach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. lechilach.
Please rise as we offer Eric and Haley a blessing before the ark. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, shetolichehem l'shalom. God of blessing, we gather to celebrate the achievements of Haley and Eric. As we congratulate them on their success, we ask God's blessing for this new chapter of their life. May it be your will that you deliver them from any harm, misfortune, and trouble they may find on their journey. May you empower the work of their hands. May they continue to act with kindness and compassion for others. We ask that you bless them, God, with strength and wisdom, with open minds and caring hearts, with safety and good judgment, that wherever their journeys take them, they find happiness, love, friendship, and community, as we say. Amen.
Amen. Etz Chaim hi lemachzikim ba b'tomecha miushar derachi ha lechei noam b'chol netivotav shalom hashivenu Adonai ilecha nashuva Chadish Yameinu Chadish Yameinu Kikidim Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon ha'chol La'tikir la'miatzev reshit Shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot Velo samanu kamishpachot adama Shelo samchalkeinu kahem V'gor aleinu kachamonam Manachnu korim u'mishacharim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz V'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad.
Please be seated. Take a moment now to remember those that we've loved and lost. In our congregation, we continue to remember Milt Wiskind, who we lost in these last weeks, who was a great leader within our congregation for decades. And we add to his name Alan Barnett, Benjamin Friedman, Ben Goodman, Saul Henkin, Estelle Hollander, Daisy Wild Jacobs, Dr. Morris Kalman, Max Katz, Donald Kaufman, Gwen Kirkman, Julius Kohler, Lawrence Latimer, Henry Landskroner, Herbert M. Lazaro, Joel Levin, Jack Lieberman, Phyllis Polsky, Nancy Rebeck, Morris Reichenstein, Katie Rossen, Solomon Seenberg, Harry Schechter, Jack Shine, Ida Sigalo, Evelyn Tuckman, and Julia Kaplan-Wine. If there are names I mispronounced or names you'd like to share, please share them aloud. We rise, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. B'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yit barak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We bless each other now with the words that Eric shared with us earlier from the Torah portion of this week, the words of the priests.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace.
Amen.
Please be seated as we invite Elaine Newman to share announcements with us.
Shabbat Shalom. So Eric and Haley, Mazel Tov, you make Temple Israel proud. And we are certainly going to miss you here. We've seen you since you were little kids, but you've added so much substance here. So remember, this is always your home, and you're always welcome back, and please come back. And congratulations to the Goldstein and the Merriman families, and thank you for sponsoring the wine and cheese tonight. So next Friday, elementary school age children can join Lauren Trexler for junior congregation. And then June 21st is our annual meeting, and we're going to be having an executive board cookout with Brotherhood helping us cook, and the meeting will start at 7. RSVPs for that week for a night with the stars for our Mishkan is on June 25th. We're still taking reservations till tomorrow. They're due on Sunday, actually. Mitzvah Day is also that week, June 25th, 26th. You got to get a lot of rest the week of the 20th. There'll be projects for all ages. Visit mitzvahDayAkron.com, see the brochure, or see Art Crack Hour. August 5th, which we're forging ahead a little, is going to be Sisterhood Shabbat, and there's going to be a barbecue oneg after the service. And then we will be participating in the Akron Pride March in August, but it doesn't give me a date. 27th, August 27th, we have a little bit of time. Details about volunteer opportunities will be coming soon. And of course, thank you to Noah always for joining us on the Bima, and to Eli. Shabbat Shalom.
I want to invite the Meermans and the Goldsteins, as well as Lauren Trexler, up to our Bima as they'll lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. And while they're making their way up here, I want to add something. Next week, this hasn't changed, correct? Next week, our speaker. Next week is Skip Radwani is planning on being our speaker next week. You may not know because Skip is humble. Skip has started founded a new nonprofit called the Grace House. The Grace House is opening in the coming weeks. It is many of you know that he works in palliative care. The Grace House is going to be a hospice house for those who have no families and who may be homeless, who live in Akron. He's done incredible work over the last few years, and so this coming Friday night, which is I think a week before the opening of this project that he's worked for years and raised millions of dollars to fund, he's going to speak a little bit about the project. So don't miss that. We have it's fitting. I think their names are for Lauren to give our future college students a book. It's the oldest bestseller there's ever been, and everybody loves you at college if you just sit in the common room and read the Torah. It really works. It got lots of us great places. So we hope you'll cherish it. We hope it will remind you, as Elaine shared, of this place as a Jewish home for you, wherever your life takes you. And we invite you now to close our service with the blessing as we invite you to raise a glass, and that you can raise the book too. Don't burn yourself. Kiddush is found on page 4 and 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ba'orei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodeshu be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'masi v'reishit ki hu yam techila למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל עמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. Amen.
Haley, you want to lift the challah? You can uncover the challah.
I don't know if we do that with COVID anymore.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Oh, okay. Man, this thing was killing me.
Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, and simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, and simen tov, mazel tov, and simen tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulecha Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecha Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecha Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecha Yisrael. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.